Futurists are looking to move away from keyboards and tap commands to voice commands, and that call has been answered by Google with its latest product, Google Home. Today in the show, we'll take a look at this exciting new product, and we will also touch on the new MacBook Pro. Should you get one now or wait? Welcome to Whirlwind Radio. I'm your host, Marcelo Sugdeo. Last week, we saw the unveiling of Apple's MacBook Pro 2016 line with the new Touch Bar. If you've been eyeing the new MacBook Pro and are not sure as to whether you should get one despite the price increase, then we suggest that you pay attention to the advice of one analyst. The Tech Times spoke with a well-known KGI securities analyst, Ming-Chi Kuo, who advises that consumers should hold on a bit longer until the second half of 2017 if they're thinking of buying the new MacBook Pro, since Apple generally follows the policy of undercutting the prices of its notebooks when the next-gen version is introduced. So what she's saying is, by the time Apple launches the MacBook Pro 2017 lineup, the MacBook Pro for 2016 will become slightly more affordable. Apple has already been working on refreshing the MacBook Pro line, which will possibly occur in the latter half of 2017. The revamped MacBook Pro 2017 version will likely house the next-gen Cannon Lake processor from Intel. But that's not all. The RAM capacity of MacBook Pro, which is now at 16 GB, will boast a 32 GB in 2017. The fact that the 2016 MacBook Pro has only 16 GB of RAM and also the hefty starting price of $1,800 has not gone down well with most. Added to that, the lack of ample memory space and configurations means that professionals will not find the laptop useful, especially in the data and memory intensive fields. Now, Apple justified this by saying that by putting more than 16 GB of RAM into the notebook, design at this time would require a memory system that consumes much more power and wouldn't be efficient enough for a notebook. But that doesn't make sense, as the MacBook Pro is a notebook that targets professionals. And with 16 GB of RAM, the computing power of the MacBook Pro falls short of expectations. Apple's decision to trade off RAM for better battery life rather than focusing on computing power has made many tech gurus unhappy. Consumers may be hoping that better sense will prevail and Apple will counter this flaw in the revamped MacBook Pro intended for 2017. Unless you really need a MacBook Pro right away, we suggest you hold out until the second half of 2017. You will either get double the RAM in an upcoming model or save some precious money by buying the 2016 model at the reduced price. It's a win-win all the way. Over the past decade, Google has grown to become a household name over the entire world. The word Google is something that is in a 5-year-old's vocabulary today. A few days ago, my 5-year-old daughter said to me, "Daddy, can you make me some pancakes?" I said, "Well, I don't know how to make it, sweetie." Then she came back with a reply that I didn't expect. She said, "Daddy, you can just Google it." I was like, "What?" Yes, Google has become synonymous with looking up anything on the internet. Now, Google is making it easier for my daughter, for kids, and for everyone to search or make a command using our voice with their latest product, Google Home. The best way to describe Google Home is to think of it as Google's version of the Amazon Echo. It's a Wi-Fi speaker that reacts to a voice command, so you can play music, get news, weather updates, and even get answers to questions like how to make pancakes. The Amazon Echo was the first real connected product in this category, and now Google is adding to it with the Google Home. Over the years, our interactions with Google have always revolved around screens, but this is changing as predictions of moving away from keyboards and tapping on screens are coming to pass. So it's not surprising that Google is making a massive effort to make its service accessible by voice. And the way that they are doing this, of course, is through Google Home. It's a $129 voice control connected speaker. The Home is a little device that's intended to sit in your house or apartment, providing an access point to all of Google's services whenever you need them, even if your hands are full or you're not in front of a phone or a computer. Google smartly designed the Home to blend in with the rest of the products in your home. Most people would say it looks like an air freshener. So it doesn't have that speaker-like look or gadgetry look. And this is good as it can be placed anywhere in your home, like your kitchen, your bedroom, living room, and it blends in with your home decor. How does it work? The Google Home is very simple to use and install. All you have to do is just plug it in, open up the new Google Home app on your phone, connect the speaker to your Wi-Fi network, and log in to your Google account. That's it. You're up and running. Google Home comes to life with a wake-up word, like OK Google or Hey Google. It doesn't sound natural speaking this out loud, but Google says that it is looking at and testing different wake-up words and phrases, but it will not commit to offering a fully customizable option. There's a really neat feature called Good Morning, which gives you a rundown of your day based on information stored in your Google account. For example, when you say, OK Google, good morning, immediately you get a weather report, the commute time to your office, appointments in your calendar for the day, and a snapshot of the news. That is like having your own personal secretary. Google Home can also control a variety of smart home appliances like Nest thermostat, the Philips Hue lights, and a host of other gadgets. It's the same concept as the Echo's smart home control. Just tell the speaker what you want to happen, like turn off the lights, set the thermostat to 23 degrees, etc., and Home will handle the rest. But what's going to be a big selling point for Google Home is the vast amount of knowledge and information that is available to Google, and combining that with its service like Google Calendar and Gmail. This will result in a more personalized and customized helper or assistant. Now, with technology, there is always the issue of privacy. This always listening feature is what makes the Home so useful, but it raises a number of privacy concerns. In order to perform actions and provide responses, the Home sends its information to Google's cloud for processing. The company insists that it only does so after it heard the wake-up word. So it's not constantly recording every sound or conversation around it. There's also the mute button on the back of the device that turns off the listening feature entirely. The data that the Home does send back to Google is stored with all the other data in your Google account and can be reviewed anytime at myactivity.google.com. That's myactivity.google.com. Still, many might not feel comfortable with an always listening Google device in their home, and that's perfectly understandable. If Google succeeds with its goals for Home, the question will not be whether or not the Home is ready to do everything you need it to do. It will be, are you ready to have an always listening Google in your home? Since we're on the topic of Google, Google now has the option to combine everything it knows about us from its Gmail, YouTube, and other applications, including personally identifiable information, with all of our web browsing habits collected using DoubleClick. And this has been the new normal since June of this year, when Google made a small change to its privacy policy. Google claims that the change is a result of its customers using its services differently with the advent of smartphones. It is, Google says, a direct response to the fact that we are using its services on multiple devices. The latest change means that Google has now the ability to generate profiles of any customer opt-in based on browsing habits across any device used to access its service and made up of personally identifiable information extracted from those services. All these could be categorized by your real name. The change was optional for anyone with an existing account, but it's set as a default for any new account created from June. And the way Google rolled this out was by calling it, quote unquote, some new features for your Google account. Google is now combining its information and those gathered using DoubleClick, the advertising and data tracking company that they bought in 2017. If you're wondering how to opt out of Google's new tracking system, you can do so by going to the activity controls in your account and on tick, include Chrome browsing history and activity from websites and apps that use Google services. With that, we've come to the end of Whirlwind Radio. Thanks for joining us. We would love to hear more what you think about Whirlwind Radio. Please make your comments on iTunes. On behalf of the team at Whirlwind Radio, this is Marcelo Suglio saying stay safe in the technology whirlwind.